typically real estate investors that use these corporations use them for shorter term holds. So what would be a shorter term hold technique or strategy in real estate investment? Fix and flip, what else? Wholesaling, right? In other words, these are going to be quick turnarounds. And so shorter term holds, because anything held in an S Corp 12 months or less has a 70% reduction in self-employment tax. So to put it in perspective, let's say an investor has an S Corp, and the investor was told by their asset protection team to take a reasonable salary. Now, my asset protection team consists of 3 people. We've got our CPA, we've got our attorney for real estate investors, and we have a tax strategist. And a tax strategist is somebody that looks at a plan. So for people who do this business more like a hobby, they miss out on a ton of advantages that come with having a business plan or a plan to do the business. Does that make sense? Because it can be very strategic. If this business owner has a plan that is designed from the beginning to mitigate the tax risk. So the team works together and they might say, okay, Susie S Corp, you know, your business made $100,000 this year. A reasonable salary for you to take is $30,000, and their definition of reasonable is what they feel that if the IRS came knocking at the door and said, prove that this is a legitimate salary, they could. Does that make sense? In other words, they wouldn't say Susie S Corp made, you know, $10 of a salary and the business made $100,000. That's a little, you know, ridiculous. So now they have a situation. They've got $70,000 sitting in an S Corp. They don't want it sitting there longer than 12 months because then it's going to be taxed higher. So this is where having a team of experts can be instrumental in helping a real estate investor navigate how this can go. So let's say this business owner is over 50 and they have a solo 401k. And you have to have a business to have, you have to be a business owner to have a solo 401k. So anybody doing this as a hobby wouldn't qualify as a solo 401k. But being a business owner, doesn't matter if it's real estate or another business, but you have to be a business owner to have one. So let's say this investor, Susie, they have a self-directed solo 401k. And they can max contribute $60,000 of that 70 into the solo 401k, tax deferred. And that money can buy real estate and lend, tax deferred. That's the difference between doing business as an amateur and this is doing business as a professional. Does that make sense, guys? That's the difference between knowledge, right, competency, and implementation. This is implementation. This is what it looks like. These are the tools of implementation. Does that make sense? Rosalina, Sarah, Marcos, Supaluk, you're up. Rita's waiting for you, okay? Now, the S Corp is great for the shorter term holds. LLC is good for longer term holds. So what's a longer term hold in real estate? Buy and hold, right? Anything that is going to be held for 12 months or longer. This is 12 months or less. LLC, 12 months or longer. Now, LLCs that we have set up for buy and hold, let's say an investor has 3 properties in their LLC. Depending on if it's a single member LLC or a partnership, If it's a single member LLC, no additional tax forms need to be filed. If it's a partnership, there would be, and that's again for the asset protection team to decide. Asset protection to a business like this is like support beams to a house. Does this make sense, guys? This business is like getting in a car going 0 to 60. So if we're getting in a car going 0 to 60, what do we need to keep us safe? Safety belts, brakes, airbags, right? That's what asset protection is to our business, if you think about it like that, to give a good analogy. And this is a business where, can we make a lot of money? We talked about this yesterday. Can we make a lot of money in real estate? Yeah. Do people also lose a lot of money? Yeah. The difference between those two is their implementation of the knowledge they have. Now, if they have so-so knowledge, you know, if they're a graduate of YouTube University, and they're implementing that, you know, all bets are off, right? But if they have knowledge from somebody, I saw this meme yesterday, and it said, you know, you can search for information on the internet, and you can get thousands of answers. Or you can ask a librarian and get the right one. Because what's the librarian the expert in? The subject matter. Does that make sense, you guys? Does everybody understand that? Like, you can ask the teacher for the right answer, or you can search and get thousands of answers and not know what the right answer is. How many of you have ever done that before? Because I know I have. Okay? How does it feel when you ever search for an item on the internet?